So I can start off by asking when you guys were first introduced to music, or when you at least felt your relationship begin with it.
Oh, dang. Do you want to go? Oh, okay. I'll go first. I guess the biggest thing for me, like the earliest memories I have from like childhood is like going to like my cousin's house in Sacramento. I'm from California, and Mountain View, which is where I live, to Sacramento is like two and a half hours, something like that. And the CDs that were always playing was like Bob Marley Legend, and my dad's from Jamaica, so that's fun. I was Legend, and then like a top hits of the Beatles, and that's probably like the earliest, just because that's stuff that I still connect with now, and I like still remember every song and everything like that. So that's probably the earliest for me.
Okay, for me, it goes back to just like classic rock. When I was in elementary school, like 104.3, the New York radio station. Listen to that every day. But yeah, Led Zeppelin, all that stuff. Then it turned into like prog rock and kind of developed from there. But yeah.
What year are you guys?
Both juniors.
Yes.
And are you in the Clive program?
He's in the.
I am in the Clive program.
I am not.
What are you in?
I'm actually in CAS for psychology. I'm minoring in music, but yeah.
And so this goes for you. How do you like the Clive program?
It's very nice. It's studying all things music, which is fun for music enthusiasts such as myself. So I like it a lot. But yeah, my main thing is production, but I get to study it all, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. So where do you want to take your production?
I like working with other artists, such as Halfy. So yeah, I like being able to service other artists and make their visions happen.
So how did you two meet?
Oh, that's so freshman year I was in a cohort, which is what CAS does, and we had to be there on like Monday mornings at like 9. It was just a bunch of different students and then our advisor, and I met this guy named Eli through that. And Eli and Noah actually had been like friends from like high school and whatever else. Yeah,
well, we were really enemies, but we became friends. Yeah.
Yeah, but they knew each other from high school, and then Eli found out that I rapped, and then the first person that he introduced me to was Noah, and so we met in like probably the first couple either weeks or months of
first few weeks
of freshman year. Yeah. So that's how we originally met.
Yeah.
And how did you know that you wanted to rap?
Ooh. Actually, that's funny enough. I won't tell the entire story, but it's a super long story that rapping came for me in like my freshman year of high school. I had like a bunch of stuff going on in my life, and I was kind of like a loner at a certain point. And then I met this dude whose name was Rahul, and we became friends when I was like friends with nobody else. And we basically I was into rap, but not as much as he was, and then he kind of taught me about it, and we ended up writing lyrics together. We'd be sitting together at lunch, whatever else, just writing lyrics, and it kind of blossomed from there. And then it started like he switched schools, and I ended up having kind of to take it on by myself, and I kept on writing, and I learned how to produce and all that kind of stuff. So that's where that came from. Yeah. And
studying psychology, what do you want to do with that and music?
So I think, I mean, it's kind of interesting because I think that the end goal, like a perfect end goal, would be doing music for a living. But I think that psychology, the reason that I kind of ended up there was like the secret reason is because I didn't know like Clive existed before I applied to NYU because it's super hidden. But I've always kind of been interested in how people think, and that, you know, can help out in a lot of different aspects of life. And if I was going to combine music and psychology, it'd be like, you know, different experiments about finding out how music affects the brain. Like there's stuff been done that shows, you know, like Alzheimer's patients where they become lucid during, like they hear a song that they knew like when they were younger, whenever else, and when they didn't have, you know, the Alzheimer's as serious as they did, and it brings them lucid for that certain amount of time. And so things like that I think are super interesting. But I think like the perfect goal would be,
and just on a daily basis, just like how music evokes an emotional reaction.
And I mean, it helps people through their days. It helps me through my day. So
can you guys take me through a vague routine through your creative process together?
Oh, together, I think it's...
Well, it all starts with workflow, which is constantly changing.
Yeah, I guess...
For me and you, what is it usually?
It's usually me coming to know, I feel like, so there's two ways.
It's either I'll come together.
Yeah, either we'll be sitting together and like, I mean, he's mainly on the production, but like I'll add, you know, like the little, like if you looked on Wikipedia, you'd see like a little additional producer would be me. And like, so he does most of the production, and we kind of either, if we're doing it together, then we sit together and I'll be writing like as he's producing, and we'll kind of be, I mean, we talk back and forth about like what the sound that we're going for is.
It starts with like a vision, like it's like the last song we did, which is the first one we opened up.
Oh yeah, Back Again.
Was like Back Again. Yeah, you're like, I want something that's like super lush and bouncy.
Yeah.
Like something that you could like bump that's like really crisp.
Yeah.
With like every part like has purpose. So like that's the
Agreed.
vision that we used and just like took off with, and we like kept to it.
Yes.
Another example is like the Christmas song.
Oh yeah.
That we had from way back. Like,
if anybody actually knows that.
This was like after our first like EP that we did together in like
Yeah.
freshman year. It was like the idea was like do a Christmas song because it's Christmas and like people will be
they'll have fun with it
because
yeah. But it's just like it kind of starts with like that vision, and then we kind of work together and bounce ideas off each other until we hone in on something, and then he focuses on the production. I'm just sitting there writing as he's going there saying little things.
He writes in loops. Like I'll just keep the beat loop.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that other people like can't stand it probably, but like I can sit there with like a loop of a beat going for like an hour, 2 hours, and like just the same like 4 or 8 bars or whatever else just going, and I can just keep listening and just keep writing the entire time.
So how would you guys define your music, if you could?
Well, together our music sits in the hip hop world.
Yeah, definitely sits in the hip hop. I think like, I mean, I guess maybe like separately, like you can venture over into like, I mean, you do a lot of stuff though.
My solo stuff ventures more into prog rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was pretty dope. I guess like me, I sit around rap and R&B, and then like since I produce myself, it kind of like there's like this thing on SoundCloud that I have, which is called like, it's like shit that I never finished or didn't feel like putting out or something like that. And it's just like this thing that I kind of throw all these different like side things that like I like, but I don't feel are main releases. And so it kind of, that gives me a creative outlet, and it just like, that's where I put all my stuff right there. Yeah.
To rephrase the question, breaking a genre, how would you define your music?
Breaking a genre. So like outside of anything that we, or like
not
anything.
even like in a technical sense, like music in like an abstract way. What is that?
So how would you describe the music
Yeah.
like without using terms like of genre?
Yeah.
Okay.
To like you.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So you start.
Oh, wow. All right, here we go. So I guess I feel like when we work together, it normally centers around like the old school kind of style of rap. It's like very much, I guess, to not say, I guess, does boom bap count as a genre? Does that count?
Yes.
Okay, fine. But basically just like
hard hitting, straightforward,
Yeah.
not too swung, like dirty sounds.
And then kind of like, because me, I like melody a lot, so kind of adding in melodic elements, which in the first track you can really hear because it kind of goes, like it's hard hitting and crisp like through the verses,
right.
And then during that kind of chorus part it becomes more melodic and kind of floaty and whatever else.
Right. The melodies are purposeful.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like generic sonic information that
yeah, I think
is
that's
just
true.
sitting there for no reason. It's everything.
I think very much. I mean, that helps a lot. Like when I work with him, because me, I don't really play like piano. I played saxophone, but I don't play piano enough to know chord progressions and all these different things like that. So for him, he brings a lot of really interesting, because he knows production, because he knows a lot of different stuff, and he samples a lot of stuff. You bring
texture.
in like
The key is texture.
Yeah, texture. He brings in a lot of very interesting, like different. Because like if you listen to like the production on a lot of these, beats, which I think you produce all of these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I produce every one of
That
those.
like I mean they're all like a lot of them are different, but it's like you're not going to hear any other hip hop most likely, or any outside of hip hop, right? So any other music that sounds like that, and that's I'll give the credit to that. Mostly it's thanks to you, because you just like the yeah. But the thing is, that's what I always notice, and like that's what sometimes like is the most interesting thing, is that your production is like very much your own. It's very much your own, which I think is awesome.
Thanks, bro.
Anytime.
So us as listeners, what do you want us to know, or like, what do you want us to get from your music?
Well, we wanted to change your life.
That's true.
But if it doesn't do that,
Yeah. No, I think. Do you wanna?
just like, we just want you to listen to it and like put it on a playlist that you kind of like listen to like every day, and like
It's an experience.
have something like exciting about it that like you would like want to show people. That like you're friends with, like even if you're not necessarily like a music person, or like you're like constantly collecting music, like if it's special enough to stand out to the average person, that's kind of the goal.
Yeah, I think that also, like, for me, is that, like, you kind of touched on this earlier when you were talking about melodies, but it's just like everything is purposeful. Even if we were to make like the most like generic like bopper auto-tuned rap like track, like it's all for, there's a purpose behind it. We're not sitting there just being like, hey dude, let's just make something that everybody else is doing. It's like, let's do this so we can make it better. Like, I think of it as like, I think of trying to adhere to like some things that like Kendrick does, where it's like he can do a mainstream sound, which a lot of people can do, right? But he can do it where the lyrics are better than most of that stuff, right? Or the production's better, or whatever else. So for me, it's like there's always a purpose, and it's to be, you know, even if it was sounding even close to like a generic, you know, kind of thing, it's that there's always elements added in through either the production
Right.
or
so
anything else.
More or less, it's like giving you something you've never heard before.
Yeah, yeah,
in short.
yeah. Thank you.
And lastly, what advice do you guys have for underclassmen who want to do what you guys are doing right now?
Collaboration.
Ooh, that's
probably
exactly
the
what I was
thing.
gonna
Like,
say.
I don't know. It's something I kind of came
Best
late to the game
collaborators.
with, but just like it worked out here.
Yeah.
And like once you like get a few like really successful collaborations down, like you learn how to collaborate with different types of people. Like any collaboration can work if you just like no matter what combination, if you just like get on the same page first and then go.
Yeah.
But a lot of times the collaborations will,
They fall
you
apart.
get forced, you're partnered up with someone and like you don't really like each other and like you have different tastes in music and you're not on the same page, so you're pulling in
different directions.
So just learning how to get on the same wavelength with
Yeah,
with
I think I
collaborators.
definitely agree that collaborations are like the way to go. Because I mean, some of the people that we've met that like on the first EP that he was talking about, like one of them is like one of my roommates who he's now roommates with, and then the other girl is another girl that we knew from Clive, and it was just all these people that we met. And I had done other stuff with people from Clive, and it opens your eyes up to a lot of people's different creative processes and lets you, I mean, the more you do it, again, like what Noah was saying, the more you do it, the more you're basically better at working with different types of people. And then you can create such interesting sounds and such interesting types of music through like combining your mind with somebody else, which is kind of what happens here, where it's like, it doesn't sound like his music and it doesn't sound like mine. And maybe you can pull like parts from it that, you know, sound similar, right? But like when we put our heads together, it doesn't come out how my music would sound or how his would sound. It's very much like us when we do it.
Okay, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
Yeah. Yo, my name is Antonio Hennes. I go by the name Halfy. This is Dr. No.
No, we know.
And this is my TKTK session. Yeah, yeah.